Without further ado, man, like you said, one of my favorite guys to come in contact with over the last few years, man. He's been very good to us. A good guy to chop it up with, get some inside information, and we blended from the first time we ran into each other in the Cubs clubhouse. So, without further ado, we want to welcome our boy, five-time Gold Glove winner, 2010 All-Star, couple other accolades, but I'll let him get to that if he wants to. Our boy Jason Heyward. Hey, what's good, brother?
Gino T, what's going on, fellas? How we doing?
Man, I'm feeling beautiful, man. I'm feeling godly today. If you check it out, I got my Haile Selassie tee on, man. I'm feeling
right.
godly today, so I had to represent that thing, man.
All right.
Yeah, man.
Yes, sir. Hey, feeling great, man. You know the grind don't stop, so we got to keep it going and keep doing special things for our audience,
I love that, man. No matter what, no matter how the times are, man, keep it moving. I appreciate that.
No doubt, man. So let's get right into it, man. If this was a Friday afternoon or a Saturday afternoon or a Sunday afternoon, you be in the clubhouse getting prepared to go to work, man. So what's it been like, with no baseball, and how have you kept in touch with your guys, man? Y'all got a group chat or something like that going, or how's it been going?
Yeah, bro. Right now it's definitely different times for everyone. The whole world going through some different things, and trying to find normalcy and keep things as normal as possible. And I personally have just tried to make the most of this downtime. Fiance and I, we got a couple dogs, got some puppies in the house to keep things normal and keep us on the schedule. Just helping us stay active in that mindset. But I've been working out, man. Working out at the house, getting outside, a lot of different parks and places we can get in Arizona to stay loose and be active and stay away from people and stay safe. As far as teammates go, bro, we've been doing like a Zoom call at least once a week.
Okay.
On the weekends, get everybody on there, talk shop, check in, see how family's doing, see if everybody's healthy, and also just talk about what we anticipate mindset-wise going into this next season. When that happens, if that happens, there's a lot of uncertainty. Again, like we're going to talk about, and like we've been seeing, but we just try to stay familiar with each other and check in and make sure your bros are good.
That's word, man.
Man, it's definitely crazy because, you said if and when the season resumes, because we simply don't know, if we're going to get baseball this year. So I want to ask you, how are you and the guys keeping that chip on your shoulder? Because we all know that the season didn't end how you guys wanted it. How are you guys keeping that competitive edge and keeping yourselves ready? And like I said, that chip on your shoulder when play resumes.
Just a lot of discussions on, how we can get better, right? Or how we can, gel quickly, how we can, make sure we make the most of every step of the way. As we've seen that, it's easy to go ahead and win a division by, 10, 11 games, easy to, not necessarily coast into the playoffs, but, have a lot of things going for you. But you also got to find ways to do it, throughout the season when you need that one extra game. You need that, difference maker along the way to get you in and get you past the competition. And I think that's what we've all talked about, most of the time is how tough the game has gotten, how tough it keeps getting. Teams around us keep getting better in our division. Postseason teams keep getting better. And I think that's kind of been, our motivator, so to speak. We just love competition. We respect the game, man. We obviously, a lot of us do know what it's like to hold that trophy. But we want that again, and we don't want to take that opportunity for granted with this group we got here.
That's word, man. There are a lot of different opinions and things going around about you guys, the season returning, the season not returning. Rob Manfred said he was hopeful to have baseball back this summer. A guy like Blake Snell, who, he's taken some criticism over the last few days about saying that he wasn't going to play for the prorated salary. Give us your thoughts on that, the prorated salary, the talks about, the new format with the 80-game season and playing so many games against, your teams in your division and teams who are around the same location and things of that nature.
Well, I'm gonna try and do my best to keep it as surface level as possible, but keep it real with you at the same time.
Right.
I think, most importantly, I think everyone involved with the game on our level, as far as players, staff, front offices, owners, whatever, I think we all do want to have baseball. And I think there's a great reason for it is, to, bring normalcy back to the country, to the world, to, bring some joy in people's lives and be out there and doing it for all those great reasons. But at the same time, for us, we do always understand that we are people. We have kids, we got family members, we got parents. So there's things that you got to keep in check when it comes to the reality of, there are going to be some risk involved if and when this happens.
Right.
But as far as salaries and things like that go, man, like this is new territory. This is new territory, and not just from a negotiating standpoint. I'm talking about just like all of us, human being wise, having to be at home and locked up longer than normal. Not being able to be around people the same way. Having to think, over and over again how you move. So I think it's just important to realize that a lot of people are going through stresses, and while I do understand, being an athlete or being an entertainer comes with that price of being judged, but I think you got to cut some people some slack, man. Realizing that sometimes they're going to say some things that they may not mean, but especially in a situation right now where I think a lot of us have seen that, it's definitely more stressful for some than others, and money's not the answer to everything. So for us again, man, as players, I just think that, most importantly, go out here and respect the game and be able to give the game, to the highest quality that we're able to when it comes to getting our bodies ready, being ready to go out there and stay healthy for, if it's a 2-game season, then so be it. But, all in all, bro, we just want to be healthy. We want to make sure these risks are taken care of for families, staff, all that kind of stuff, man. Because like I said, man, this is uncharted territory here. We don't know what this looks like, and we all have to, really, understand that there's no 100% guarantee that anything's going to be risk free.
Totally, like you said, this is definitely uncharted territory, man. I think for players and media members alike, nobody knows what the other side of this is going to look like. So, like you said, you're training, man. We're trying to stay ahead of the ball and come out of this on top. But man, Jason, one of the things I love to do is go behind the scenes of some of my favorite moments. And the first thing I think of when I talk to you, bro, is that urban legend myth of your pep talk during the 2016 World Series. Now, I guess I should precursor it by saying, me and Gino were in the building. We were, after you guys went on and won it all, we were back, in the clubhouse and everything. And I personally, while Gene was doing this thing in the locker room and getting interviews and everything, I just so happened, hey, you see the memorabilia. Yeah, it's only one way you could have got that, But so I stumbled across the weight room, okay? And I went inside, and I'm a believer in energies. And I just have to say, bro, the energy that I felt in that room, it just completely felt like something major had went down in there. To the point where I was like, damn, I got to get out of here. Let me go ahead and get up out of here. So can you go ahead and clear the story for me personally and the audience? What actually went down during that rain delay in the 2016 World Series where you guys broke that 108-year curse and brought the trophy home where it belongs, man?
Man, that moment was it was probably as genuine as it could be, man. There was no fake in there. Everything was real. It was a reality check. It was a checks and balances for all of us. We were just, honestly, blessed and fortunate enough to have time to get that moment. Rain happened. Of course, we talk about, the rain delay being 17 minutes. That's, when you talk about 103 wins in a regular season, talk about making it all the way to a game 7, how much time that is preparation from off season to spring training, guys getting injured and coming back from it, having all the accolades as individuals, getting down to that last moment, bro. 17 minutes is not a very long time. So I just want to say, I felt like it was a time to just kind of remind everybody, man, check in and, and point out the fact that what we had done to that point was special. It was unique. It was something that, every time we got a challenge throughout the year, bro, we didn't care. We looked at it and said, all right, bring it. We had fun with it. Even when things, could have seemed easy at times in the season, like I said, we talk about winning the division by, a double-digit margin. Yeah, that's easy, but we also knew that we had to keep testing ourselves, keep pushing, always finish the game, whether we were up big, down big. We knew we had to test ourselves and be ready for that challenge. But we also knew what we had to overcome. And I think, much like a lot of teams that go on and hold that trophy at the end of the year, we expected to do that season. We expected it, but I don't think anybody expected that moment to happen before we went to that rain delay. Exactly the way it did, man. I think at that moment and point in time, I think teams in both dugouts, everyone on the field was like, all right, right now we're fans, so to speak. We're all in shock that this just happened. Even the Indians, dude, they're pulling for their batter. They're thinking positive thoughts. Us out there on the field, the Cubbies, our dugout, we're all hoping the best thing happens. But when that moment happened, man, it was just something that shocked the world. And that rain delay was a chance for us again, man, just to come back home, remember what we've done, and remember how we need to finish this game. Because for us that year, it wasn't always about winning the game. We did celebrate every win. We did, respect the game. We didn't take it for granted, right? But for us, it was just how we went out there and approached it. And I wanted us to remember in these last, moments that we had to go out there and finish that game, we got to approach it the same way we've been approaching it all year. And I'm just going to kind of leave it right there because the rest of it is more of a, it's based on a last dance, kind of so to speak thing where what happens in the clubhouse stays in the clubhouse. But y'all know how it is, man. You know how sports is. You know how entertainment is. These are very real moments, man, with a great group of dudes that came together like no other. And I'm not a person that likes to talk about myself and things like that when it comes to a team game. But it was something where I realized, after that, having teammates come tell me, hey, like, you'll never forget this, we'll never forget this. Yeah, it's definitely something that I'll always hold near and dear to my heart. But it was an even more special moment, man, doing it for that group of guys in that moment, but also doing it for, like we talk about, man, 108 years, for people to be able to say this curse is no more. People to be able to say, I was at my gravesite, my great grandfather, father. Just the memories, man, that it brought home for a lot of people.
Dope, man. Hey, as long as when that last dance, that Cubs last dance documentary airs, and as long as the bigs are part of it, man, I'm very happy,
Hey, we always a part of it, but no doubt, man. Just when y'all see me, come find me, and I'll give you what I got.
That's word, man. Now check this out. I want to dig into something a little bit deeper because, when I talked to you last, when we did our little interview in the dugout, we talked about, blacks in baseball, and you growing up in Atlanta and having all those great guys, Fred McGriff, David Justice, Terry Pendleton, Ron Gant, Deion Sanders, all of those types of guys that you could look up to. So with Atlanta and Chicago kind of sharing the same sentiment as far as like being segregated cities. When me and Terrence first came on the scene, especially in baseball, it's like, when you come into the press box, or when you travel around and you go to different cities and you go to these press boxes, and we're usually the only black guys in the clubhouse or in the press box, I mean. And it was kind of weird at first, but it was something that I had to quickly get over and realize that, that doesn't even matter because I'm here to do a job. But at the end of the day, it does matter because I'm representing for us, and I'm trying to, set a precedent for the people that come behind us. So with you, and we hear about blacks in baseball and how tough, we see it. If you notice the NFL and the NBA, the majority of the league are black players. When we get to the major leagues, less than 10% of the league is black. And I mean, I was able to kind of fish through it and come out on a better end of it because I went to a Catholic high school, which was predominantly white. So I was able to learn how to blend with those guys with different races and continue to be myself and not hold back. So when I look at a guy like you, and you know that it's basically coming out of your pores when I look at you and the way you handle yourself with the press and the way you handle yourself in those big moments. How are you able to navigate, sometimes being the only black guy in the clubhouse, especially now with Carl Edwards Jr. gone, Addison Russell not being there, but also you being the go-to guy. The guys look at you as the guy, to lead the way. So how have you coped with that, and how have you, taken that?
Man, I've been fortunate enough to have parents that expose, my brother and I to a lot of things at an early age. My dad, like yourself, he went to an all-boys Catholic school his last 2 years of high school. He's from Beaufort, South Carolina, where he went to one of the first integrated, movie theaters, one of the first integrated schools. Being born in 1958. So he came up through that and saw that. But he was also able to see the other side of things. His uncle, Kenneth Washington, went to UCLA and played basketball for John Wooden. Played against Duke in the national championships in the 1960s. So my dad lived with him his last 2 years of high school. All boys Catholic school, focus on the hoops. Family has a military Marine background, but very highly educated background. And my pops went to Dartmouth in New Hampshire.
Wow.
To actually be closer to his father. He went to Ivy League and played basketball there. And that's actually where my parents met. They met in school at Dartmouth. And so I feel like my dad having his, exposure to things in life at an early age, really showed him, my mom, as well, my mom's from New York. They just wanted us to have exposure, bro. They wanted us to see friends and family that they had in California, right? From friends that live in Beverly Hills, Bel Air, to a family that live in trailer parks and, live in different neighborhoods in South Carolina and across the country, and just to see everything, right? Not just to see one way and think people that have money and have things are all bad people, or think that people that don't have as much and they have to work a little harder and move differently, not letting you think that they're bad people, man. So just being comfortable with surroundings. But when it comes to the baseball aspect, being African-American doing that, bro, baseball is, like we talk about, it's not necessarily an African-American sport. So playing that since 5 years old, I just become more comfortable with my surroundings with that. I met so many great people, man, great teammates, great coaches, life-changing moments, stories that, I'll be able to tell my kids forever and ever. And I just think that, honestly, because I've been able to be well-rounded and be able to move how I need to move, around any race, that my teammates and people around me have respected that and understood that, that I'm aware, yes, that I'm Black. And, like, we have fun with that. We have fun bringing culture into the clubhouse, right? We have fun, bringing, Latin guys into the clubhouse. We have fun, listening to country music and around with dudes like John Lester, John Lackey's, with their stuff. I think, I've been fortunate enough to be with a lot of good groups and just people that understand that we want to win, right? We want to win. We want to be good people. We want to make the most of the opportunities that we have. So when I step in that clubhouse, bro, it's just, I'm a teammate first. I'm a competitor. I want to go out there and play my game. And I also know that, people are watching. People are watching. Kids are watching. African Americans are watching what I do. And it's, it's not necessarily a choice either. Like yourself, like you said, y'all go up there in the stadium and you feel like, wait a minute, I don't see anybody else that looks like me in here. But you said, it was uncomfortable at first, but you realize, hey, man, like, this is what I want to do. I got a passion for this. I got a passion for bringing people a message. I got a passion for letting people see that it's okay to break down barriers, and not always barriers of hatred, right? And doing things wrong, but more so barriers of, hey, like, uncharted territory, like someone not doing this before. Letting someone else see something that they haven't seen from someone that looks like them. And I think that's the biggest thing when it comes to, NBA players, when it comes to NFL players. There are so many more guys that are doing it that's the biggest influence.
Absolutely, man. Because, while you were saying that, I'm over here thinking to myself that some of the biggest, stars in the league are Black baseball players. We're talking about Mookie Betts, Tim Anderson. And, I'm wondering, from your perspective, what are some of the things that you think that the league can do a little better that gives guys like that the platform that they need so that a younger generation can see those guys and be inspired?
Man, you know what? I feel like it's on the up and up right now. I feel like social media, I feel like the league, I feel like teams, I feel like the athletes are taking advantage of that the right way right now. Even though there's going to be controversial with stuff, people ain't always going to like what you do and how you do it, right? But that's the nature of the beast in this industry. But I think dudes are starting to get that because people are starting to be able to see into our lives and what we do off the field. So as far as how we can continue to move that forward, man, I think dudes are going to have to speak up a little bit more when they don't want to, or not when they don't want to, when it's not comfortable, when no one has done it yet. Andrew McCutcheon was a big one for me. More recently, man, as being a dude rocking the swingman, King Griffey Jr. Having the braids, winning the MVP, doing it in the Steel City. A lot of respect for that, man, because that's people like him push the needle forward. Adam Jones is someone I think of as being a dude that goes out there, leaves it all out on the field. He pays so much homage and respect to the game of baseball, but to those that come before him. But he's also like, hey, man, like while I got this platform, people might not like what I got to say all the time, but I'm gonna say it, and he's gonna say it, out of the from the bottom of his heart. So I think more things like that, more people, reaching out, being exposed. I mean, Tim Anderson on the South Side, you saw last year he had a couple bat flips that people like, hey, man, we don't really agree with that, which is fine in my mind, man. Like, you should be able to do whatever you want to do in this game as long as you can take whatever comes with that. So I say, continuing to be yourself and continue to grow the game in that aspect of just letting people see this is what it's about. This is where I come from. This is how I'm going to handle this controversy. This is how I'm going to handle winning. This is how I'm going to handle failure. But on the other side of things, when it comes to the education part, bro, college baseball, and Gene, we kind of talked about this that one time in the dugout. Bro, there's not that many scholarships for baseball, and right now with what's going on with this pandemic, there might start to be less because money is a major issue. So it's just harder for someone to come out of certain neighborhoods. I don't care what you are, black, white, whatever, Asian. Like, if your family, has to move a certain way to make money and support itself, then, playing baseball is not the easiest sport to do so. So there's different programs out there. I deal with some nonprofits, in Atlanta. I deal with some nonprofits in Chicago as well that are making moves to try and keep the neighborhood safe, but also do it through baseball, do it through education, exposing to different opportunities throughout the game, not just on the playing side. Being guys like yourselves, man, like y'all are being there as a visual for some dudes, man, and people to see that we can get in this game another way and be involved and impact people. So I just think it's a group effort, man. It's a group effort. We got a long way to go, but I think we're taking steps in the right direction.
Yeah, man. One more I want to run at you under this topic, man. We over the last week we've seen a lot of headlines about the NFL trying to do, I don't know what about diversity, when it comes to higher positions in the game, when it comes to head coaches and general managers. I feel like every sport, whether it's NBA, MLB, NFL, all have that same issue. So I'm wondering, have you, and I know, you still got a lot left in the tank. I don't want to, question that, but I'm wondering, have you thought past your playing days and, how does general manager Jason Heyward sound or manager Jason Heyward sound to you?
Ooh. Oh, man. I'll say this right now. I'm in the best shape of my life, thanks to having like a good group around me. Tim Grover, we work out. My trainer Lily back in Atlanta, we work hard on the speed and agility side. So I don't know how much longer I'm gonna play, man. Like the game's gonna be different. I feel like right now, the veterans are getting weaned out, earlier and earlier. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But as far as me being a GM or manager, I don't know about a manager, bro, because when I do something, I do it. And then I feel like if I'm a manager, bro, that's going to be a lot of time away from family for me.
Right.
That's going to be a lot of time, dedicated, wanting to get to the ballpark earlier, because I don't think people understand what it's like on that side of it. Bro, these dudes get there early. Like, I like to get there early. A lot of us get there early and work hard, work out. Some dudes stay after. Bro, these coaches are there before us and after us, and they spend a lot of time away from family. So I think most importantly, when I'm done, I would like to put family first. For once. Not that I haven't, but you know how it is, man. When you're dedicated to a craft, there's a lot of time and things and sacrifices you make to be away from that. But on that NFL topic, I'm curious right now to see like how much Jay-Z has to do with that, right? Because we've seen, since he's come on the scene, there have been more topic of discussions. We've seen Travis Scott in Atlanta do the Super Bowl. We've seen him at the Super Bowl, obviously, with his family. And, even though there was controversy of him and, Beyonce sitting down during the anthem, they obviously later had to come out and say, look, we meant no harm. We were just, critiquing, being the musicians that we are, critiquing that performance. So I almost wonder, man, is this another thing that Hov is kind of pushing? It's a good idea to, I don't want to say it's a good idea. I'll say it's good to see there being discussion about it, right?
Yes,
We realize as African Americans, as being Black people, how hard it is to bring this conversation up and do it and get it right the very first time. But to me, that just shows again that we need more people pushing the needle like he is with the NFL.
Totally.
Yeah, that's dope, man. 2 more questions before we wrap it up, man. Before we get to it, though, I want to let all our family members know, everybody out there that's watching. You see the banner flashing across the bottom, man. Donate, support the Bigs. Cash App is at the bottom. The Bigs Media is the Cash App. Help us out, man. We need the donations to help us continue to push forward, push the culture forward, and continue to bring this great content to you guys. So
I'm going to donate myself after this interview. Right if we get off here, I'm donating myself, so y'all know.
Much love to you, brother.
Man, thank you, bro.
So first question. You being a former first-round pick yourself in Chicago here, and I'm happy to say my alma mater, Mount Carmel Caravan, the home of Donovan McNabb and Antoine Walker, should be NBA and NFL Hall of Famers.
Hey.
We have the #1 shortstop in the nation. His name is Ed Heyward. He played on that Jackie Robinson West team that went to the Little League World Series.
Okay.
And he is, he's slated to be a top 20 draft pick. Did we lose?
Did we lose, Jay? Hey, hold on 1 second.
Hold on, Gino. I lost y'all for a little bit. Hold on.
Okay.
Bear with me.
No problem, brother.
Check.
We hear you, but we don't
check.
see you. Let me check real quick.
Can you hear me, fellas?
We can hear you.
Yo.
Yeah. There you go.
Yo.
Yo, can you hear us, Jay? Hey?
Yo.
We can hear you.
One second. We're going to try to get Jay Hay back real quick, guys. Bear with us for 1 second.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw the logo back up.
I can hear you now.
Can you hear us?
I can hear you now. Yes, sir.
All right. Your screen is black, but if that's cool with you, we can go ahead and keep it going for the last couple minutes.
Yeah, no, that works for me. Let's send it. But Gino was talking about the shortstop that y'all had #1 in the nation.
Yeah, he's the #1 shortstop in the nation, Ed Heyward. He's slated to be a top 20 pick. So his life is going to change as soon as he gets that call from the front office on draft day. So what advice do you have for a kid like that? And like I said, with you being a first-round pick and going through the motions and having to spend a few years in the minor leagues before you got your first shot, what advice do you have for a kid like Ed Heyward?
First and foremost, first of all, congratulations, and I hope, wish him nothing but the best, right? But I got to tell him that he needs to be ready for anyone and anything around him to make it hard for him to make it where he wants to be. Don't think people are just going to hand it to him now that he's, going to be a first rounder potentially or whatever it is. Once he gets drafted, once he has some money, once he has, a responsibility, once he has expectation, he's going to be a prospect. There are going to be a lot of people in a lot of positions that can either help him or hurt him. And unfortunately, he's going to have to realize that most of those people are not going to be ready to help him. They're going to be looking out for themselves. They're going to be wanting to put food on the family for their food on the table for their families. And they're going to want to wake up every day feeling better about their jobs. So he's got to be ready to do his damn thing. You know what I'm saying? Like at no point can he feel like, okay, you know, I made it here. You know, I made it to this level. Now we're good. I made it to this next level. Now we're good. You know, I'm just going to be able to go out here and do my thing, and it's going to be a beautiful day. No one's going to interrupt me. That's the exact opposite. Is, you know, just because we get higher and higher in, you know, in our industry, I'm sure you guys can see it, man. There's always hoops and ladders you got to jump through. There's always people you have to be ready to say, hey, I got my guard up, and to a certain sense of, you know, I'm gonna stay in the moment right here. I'm gonna be prepared to give my best, and I'm gonna be prepared to keep that chip on my shoulder and never let that chip go, because you always gonna need that. But outside of that, just be patient. Be patient with yourself. Be patient with the process. Enjoy the process, and don't ever get complacent where you are.
Yeah, he has good family. He has a good family support system around him. So I'm pretty sure that he'll be ready to go. But I'm definitely interested in just and to end it off, just like you said, not knowing the future. You know, the new draft rules, they're only going to be 5 rounds this year. So a lot of kids who were projected to be, you know, 8th, 9th round, who are probably going to be on the outside looking in, now they're going to have big decisions to make and are probably going to have to go to college. So, man, I appreciate you bringing that knowledge to Ed, man. I'm make sure that he sees this video and he takes that from a great guy like yourself, man.
No, my pleasure, bro. He gonna have to go after him every day. Every day he gonna have to go after him.
Hey, yo, with that said, Jay, hey man, we completely appreciate you for giving us all this time, bro. Thank you so much for coming in and rocking on the soil with the bigs, and you know it means the world to us.
No, most definitely, man. Again, I appreciate y'all having me. I appreciate y'all throwing this together, the platform. I appreciate what y'all doing, man. Hey, y'all keep pushing too. Keep it pushing too, man. We got people watching us. It's dope to see what you're doing, man. Let me know anytime you need me.
Hey, and one more parting shot, man. You know, we always chop it up about the music. What you listening to, man? I personally lately in these trying times, man, in these times of, you know, being able to sit back and think and gather your thoughts and keep your mind and body and soul on point, man. I've been in the ATL with mine lately, man. I took it back. I took it back to Goody Mob, Soul Food, and Outkast, AT-Aliens, and Equivalent. Man. So that's what my mind is right now. What you been listening to?
Bro, I've been bouncing all over the place a little bit, man. You know, with family, you know, being back in Georgia while I was over here in AZ, man, I dabbled in like a little bit of like a little Ray Charles, like a little Bill Withers.
Yes, sir. Yes, man, sir.
But also, man, some Afro B, you know, just for the vibes, you know, free the mind and spirit, chilling. Baby just dropped that project, but he dropped that deluxe version. Okay, and then he came out with the all in. He came out with the social distancing. You know, I'm waiting on this Wanna to come out on the 22nd. That Gunna. Man, who else? Don Toliver dropped his thing. Drake obviously dropped his. There's a few on there. I mean, that Windy City, I feel like that's dope. That's real. You know, that's super real. 2:30, meet me by the beam. Shoot, bro, but I can't, man. It's hard for me to, you know, to point it all out right now because I feel like I listen to, you know, a bunch of different music every day. I'll say a big one right now through all of this motivation and perspective wise, the Reasonable Doubt. Reasonable Doubt from Jay-Z has been a big one where I got a lot of songs from that album mixed in on playlists.
And you just made my day because that's almost exactly what I've been spending, man. It's almost when you got all this time, you got to go back and dig through the crates a little bit, you know? You got to, bro. Yeah.
Now that's love, man. Like T said, bro, we appreciate you, man. We definitely gonna stay in tune with you, and you've always been stand up since the first time we crossed paths, man. So stay up, man, and hopefully, you know, if we don't see you soon, you know, we'll definitely lock in and make sure we all good out here, man.
No, likewise, I appreciate that, man. Appreciate you always checking in. Like you said, if we don't see each other soon, we'll stay in touch. But man, hopefully sooner than later we make something happen and we bring some baseball to the people.
Yes, sir.
Y'all love, brother.
Hey, thanks again, Jay. We'll talk to you later.